All right. Welcome to the conclusion of meditation mastery, mastering meditation. And let's just kind of bring it all together, all these ideas. I know it was actually a lot. It wasn't presented to you in the popular linear fashion with smiles, excitements, and good looks. But that's really not the point. The point is let's let's have a real discussion. Like we maybe you're talking to your mother, your dad, a relative, someone close to you but very common. So I'm bringing this to common ground, so you can digest it and it doesn't feel like, I don't know, synthetic, manufactured, man-made. I didn't have to rehearse this hundreds of times. There isn't a huge goal behind it. I mean, yes, eventually I would like all this reward and financial gain and wealth and status and all that cool stuff too. But that takes a sideline to the reality of it. Um, what do I think the world needs? I think the world needs mental health. In what way? Through meditation. Because I think meditation for whatever you're doing is going to benefit you. It just makes a better human being. So, Onyx, what is your life mission? To help anyone and everyone, whatever status, gender, race, identity, whatever they are, wherever they're from, at any stage of life, to um, help them in their meditation goals, because I really only think that's what this world needs. I don't think it needs more technology. It doesn't need more stuff produced. It needs more mindfulness. And I feel like no matter how advanced we were in the past, and we will be again in the future, it will always come down to this mindfulness. Mindfulness, awareness, perception, it's all one, it's all the same. And then wrapping it up in this video, I'm hopefully you're getting the idea that meditation isn't really something different from you. You are a lens, you are awareness itself. Um, you're also stillness, you are silence. You are the universe. You are solitude. You are peace. You are bliss. There are all these positive things, um, even though you may be identified with some of the negative things that happen on the stage of life. But those things are transient and temporary. They come and go. Moods come and go. Thoughts are streaming. 24 hours, they come and go. There's a million channels to select from. So, but they're, because they come and go, they lose value. Like they're impermanent. So these are kind of like those four noble truths. You know, everything comes and goes, everything is impermanent. The only thing that is permanent is what's real. And we need to get real with ourselves in the way that we get real with ourselves. So even though I'm separated from my very best friend, um, due to technical difficulties down here on the earth plane, um, she still she was my teacher for 8 years. She's ascended. She's amazing. Uh, we do life differently. Even though our life missions are the same, to help others get real with themselves, we have different backgrounds, different viewpoints and methods to get the same job done. I ha- you know, I play on my Pisces energy, and I believe it can be all done in a gentle way. And you know, we have our own unique connection with source energy. So in true Pisces fashion, we don't subscribe to any like religious ideology. You know, we might entertain it, but we don't truly subscribe to it. And and this goes in with being neutral, with being clear. To have a definition limits me. Um, I think it was Relke who made the quote, the statement, to define me is to negate me. And I interpret that as to label it is to limit it. So I think unconsciously all my life, I knew that. When my parents went to give me my new adopted name, I was like, that's not me. And so for a while I went with no name. And then, I picked Onyx, uh, not actually after the stone, but I actually picked it after space. Intuitively, just kind of creatively, it was space and it was night and it was infinite, like the void. And it was kind of like my goals. What is this mysterious, endless night? This space that all the stars seem to be in. And I really wasn't thinking about the stars, I was just thinking of infinite space. And infinite space is where I felt most comfortable, kind of playing around after some shamanic awakening at the age of 19. You start reading books and they're like, what element are you attracted to? And, you know, go on like these guided visual meditations and stuff. And I was like, I don't really feel comfortable here on earth. I don't really feel this is my home base. Um, I think I would feel much more comfortable out in space or maybe in an air conditioned spaceship, a little removed from reality, like nature. Like this is this planet, like the flora and fauna and the humans. I was like, I think I really resonate with space. And so part of this incarnation or this experience is actually the paradox is falling in love with this planet, and the minerals and rocks have been very helpful for me to appreciate where I'm at now and working with the resources that I have available to me in actual reality, versus some contemplative inner zone, inner space. Really. So, ascension, for some of us, we're really good at coming down to practical reality. We accept our bodies, we accept our time here on the planet, we accept being human, you know, and I would call that the descending current, which is needed. But the ascending ascent current, from matter back to spirit, and spirit back to matter, creating this circuit, uh, people who are in need of an ascension process need to move up. I've always known I was from up coming down. I'm like, I'm coming down. I'm not going up. I've already been up. I am from up. I'm like coming down. So so at different points in my life, I had to make that clear to a few people. Like, you know, I'm like spirits crash landing in my heart first, you know? So, this one person I dated for a while, I'm like, if we're going to work out in a relationship, you're going to have to know that our relationship needs to touch my heart and my soul. It needs to have this upper connection, because this lower connection's great. You're very physically attractive and our energies vibe together. But you need to realize this is how I'm hardwired and this is my vibe, and that's just the way it is if we're gonna, you know, like continue this relationship or make plans. And, of course, then I mess up that relationship and move on. But whatever, it's all good. But I distinctly remember that moment where I'm like, how am I going to get through? Okay, so all this meditation and stuff, it's great and all, but the reality, if it's not improving your everyday life and it's not making your life more adventurous in the 3D world, it's not worth pursuing. The escapist mindset. So a lot of new agers will say, "Oh, I hope this is my last lifetime." You know, it's such a burden here, or some new age thought of Earth is such a negative place, and all the higher multidimensional beings are saying thank you very much for such a hardship. I'm like, I don't buy into that. So I'm kind of a rebel here. I don't buy in to these ideologies, these stories, these modern narratives, this false religious stuff. I'm like, no, meditation is practical, spirituality is practical, and they work together. So the water triangle and the fire triangle connect to create the six-rayed star, and they make you a master of as above, so below, as within, so without. That's another way of saying the art of balance. So meditation is to help balance you, synchronize you, however you'd like to call it, align you. These are some of the practical benefits all across the board that create health, wealth for you, clarity, insight, and give you all that you need. But meditation can then also be so much more. So it is a vehicle. So you could think of it as the chariot card that gets you to the high priestess card, that gets you, that gets you to the star card. So the high priestess, she's standing there solid, and still, So there's a big clue in the tarot telling you people to sit still, sit on your throne. So the Merkaba doesn't need to be a spinning star tetrahedron. That's like the glamour of it all. You're already in your Merkaba. You're art. You are the chariot. Your mind, your third eye is the chariot. Your intention, like, so a lot of this, uh, I would call New Age mysticism symbolically can be very disorienting. It can throw you off course. It can glamorize and magnify things. It can obscure the practical truth that you are enough, you are it, you are consciousness, you are the source. So, anyways, kind of moving in for this next section of what we need to talk about. Hold on. All right, I grabbed a few little props to show you. So, in my room, I have a few little items. I've always had this pyramid. It's clear, represents the clear lens. So that's symbolically the goal, to clear the lens of the lantern. The outside, we go out into the world and people are always projecting and having issues as we interact with people, okay? It's inevitable. Learning how to clear the outside of the mirror. So taking a shower, smudging, decompressing, maybe going to a counselor because all this false identity assumptions going on, the roles that we have to play in other people's lives, people get entangled and enmeshed. Clean the outside of the lens. But then that stuff that you internalized, you also splatted on a lens inside of you. You have a self image and you have that voice in your head and you have all that stuff you absorb through over identifying with people. That's like an inner lens, and that needs to be cleared. So both sides of the lens need to be cleared. It's like you got to clean the inside and the outside. And so just a simple reminder is this cute little pyramid crystal, which represents, focus and water, fire, all that cool stuff. And then the other little thing I have is the Egyptian eye. Eye of Ra, Eye of Thoth, Eye of Horus, the eye, the pineal gland, whatever. It's perception and awareness. Third eye, awareness is what protects you, not like, so I don't need like magical protection. I am the magic. So there's this book I read like on psychic development and channeling. And one part I really liked is the lady said, whatever you identify with, you become. So, and whatever you become, that's what you see. So when you're identified with like a negative story, like someone is telling you the future looks unwanted, like you might break up with a partner or lose some finances, you're like, when you identify with it, you emotionally attach to it. That's what you see, that's what you perceive, and that's what you get. It also is like the vibration you're at. So if you're like a negative person vibrationally, then you're looking out in a field and it's negative, you know? That's the frequency bandwidth that you're playing in. That's the color of the rainbow, the shade, whatever you want to call it. So if you're at the bottom of the ocean, you can see everything at the bottom of the ocean. If you get closer to the top, you can see things clearer. You can see, and the temperature is different and the pressure is different. So if I'm looking out into the world and I'm, at mid level, my experience of it is different. And then when I get all the way to the surface, my experience is different. What I see is a possibility for a future. When I look at the past, I see it different. When I look at the future, I see it different. And let's say get out of the water and get up into the air, get up into the sky, get up into the heavens. So kind of like step ladders, there's like levels. And it's so how you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see the future and the past, how you remember the past, and how you foresee the future, it is gauged by what energetic frequency you are in the moment. And so, whatever you are channeling, so we all have a base frequency. That's what you consider you. That's what you consider I am. So if you say I am, I have always been depressed, you're saying I am always depressed, and you're at that frequency. So then when you look towards the future, you're only going to see a depressing, hopeless future. And so depending upon what level you're in is actually what you can see as a future possibility. And so I keep that as a reminder, go neutral, go all the way up. And so the reality is you're naturally positive, you're naturally whole, and you're complete. The only way that you're not is with baggage, through past experiences. That would be the stuff you need to scrape off the outer and inner lens. Anything you've absorbed, you got to scrape off and do the inner cleaning. And anything that's being put onto you, like your environment is always bombarding you with stuff you don't need. If you don't get those if you don't learn how to use your windshield wipers and let that stuff go and not take it personally and not to internalize it, not take it home with you and stay in your lane and all this cheap therapy, self-help, if you don't know how to do that, or you got to learn. So the inner and outer cleaning. And then the real master key is I am, whatever you say with it is who you become in the moment. You channel that. You're at that level, that's all you can see. So just like when you're in a really good mood, you see the world as better, you see hope, and you feel optimistic. And then when you don't get what you want, you're not validated and things didn't work out, you slump back down to your lower vibration. And then that's how you see the world. So the other thing I keep is this cute little optometrist lens, because I'm so into being clear, so it's a great reminder to stay clear, stay focused. And so I love this. Life is a mirror, but we forget mirrors are made of glass. and it's a lens, and it needs to be clear. And I don't need to put a silver screen on the back to reflect something. So the last thing I keep is this blank uh, canvas frame, this little guy. You can always wipe the slate clean. Life is art. You can paint a new picture on it, love it. You can also erase it again. You can always return to that clear, pristine, blank canvas. I don't have to stay mad at someone. I can forgive. I can forget. I can let it all go and start fresh and anew. I could break the script. I could change the story at any moment. So the person I was mad at for the last 3 weeks, I can all of a sudden walk in the room and say, hi, how are you doing? As if it never happened. And write a new story for myself. Respond to life differently. You know, I can be into something for a while and then just drop it. Let it go, detach, cleanse the slate, forgive. Create a whole new reality, create a whole new rule system. This flexibility and the ability. So the word tabula rasa basically means clean slate. Um, and I believe in that wholeheartedly. So you could be at any point in your existence and be like, doesn't matter what the story was. Why should that story, why should you vomit your past story onto your present moment and ruin it? Why should you vomit that story forward and then step in it? Why should you have it splash you in the face? Why take the negative of yesterday or that last moment and have it ruin this moment? You don't have to keep channeling that experience, that type of experience over and over again your whole life and call that your life story. You don't have to keep that channeling through you and look out and see the world through dark colored lenses. And it's so simple that we discount it. Like, really, I have the power to choose? It's scientifically proven you have the power to choose. Multiple Earths, multiple realities, parallel realities, alternate timelines. This all suggests you have the power to choose. And you don't really have the power to choose if you can't press stop in the movie of life. Pause, take a break, switch the reels out. That's kind of what meditation does for you. That's a side benefit besides letting you be like super powerful. So I always say, and I think I've done past videos on how to meditate, and it's basically how to build the boat or how to get in the boat. You ground, center, align. So learn to sit still, find a pleasant seated position, and when you're there and when your body settles, it naturally starts to center. When you naturally center, what happens is it starts to bring you into the present moment. All thoughts are just streaming, but they're not part of the present moment. They're either being thrown into the future or stuff from the past. But thoughts really don't exist in the present. And all of this emotional stuff that's swirling, it settles and becomes calm because nothing is happening in the present moment, really. You're just being present. So this natural sense of clarity happens. Then you deepen your meditation, you'll find two things happen in your meditation. You'll start to get energy because your body's not moving. Your mind's not moving. Your emotions aren't moving. And so then you get energized. That energized can actually turn into like an excitement, a focus. And so then it becomes exhilarating to focus on something. So I'd say pick something that's interesting. If you're focusing on something that's not interesting, your meditation's gonna suck. It's gonna feel like a punishment. So I think this was one of the big red flags of, big warning. Don't make your meditations unpleasant. Who would want to be in unpleasant? Who would want to focus on something unpleasant? The mind doesn't want to do that. So if you need to, so meditation is basically just focusing on one thing. It could be your breath, could be numbers. Those are all boring to me. So what I usually focus on is a colored. Right now, I'm focusing like on a purple oval shape. You know, I just focus on this purple oval shape. My mind's attracted to the purple for some reason. Right now, the oval shape is working. It used to be a circle. Now it's this oval shape that just, I don't know. It's like, so that's a good, if the shape or the symbol or whatever the image is or feeling, if it's a little bit unknown to you, it creates a curiosity. You got to be magnetized to it. So part of focusing is every fiber of your being is like magnetized on what you're focusing on. And so right now that's interesting. As soon as it's not interesting, I'm dropping it, moving on to something different. So sometimes I just hold a crystal in my hand, and then the unknown element is, what will this do? How will I feel? So sometimes I'm focusing on body sensations. Other times I totally let go of that. Sometimes, so it doesn't matter. But you're gonna focus. So you're building your boat. You're learning how to sit still. You're learning how to center, and that's the body. But it starts to do that. But your energy starts to center, and you start to focus and balance and realign. And you're gonna notice your body takes time to find its stillness. Your, you know, and then your emotions and your mind and your energy too. So a whole bunch of stuff might start racing. You might, like today I was like, oh my gosh, for some reason I just want to go to the kitchen and eat this, and I want to hurry and go to the store, and I want to do this, and oh, I could do all these projects. And then I was like, Jesus. And so I would say the water was choppy when I went out to my boat today. And then all of a sudden it just stopped. It just kind of was like, after about, so literally, I was like, this isn't working. This isn't working. Is this going to work today? And then all of a sudden, it just, my body went, oh, we know what you're doing. You're going to meditate. It's been a while. And I went, and then it just knew what to do like a trained dog. It was like, oh, we sit for an hour. So, and so then I sat, and then I was like, I am not going to do this for an hour. Oh my God. Like, who has an hour? Like, that's an hour of my life. I'm like, just forget about it. Just forget about it. Ah. And then pretty soon it was over. I was like, really? I was like, I was just getting into this. So, kind of like having no expectation lets it flow and lets it go. And usually in each meditation session, I experience something new. So, sometimes I am exploring. And so that's part of the fun of it. So it needs to be interesting, it kind of needs to be fun. It also needs to be propelling you in growth. Like, so these are the things that are stopping you from having great meditations. So today, when I was meditating, I really realized I am awareness, and everything in the universe is touching me. Like the whole, like if I was a sphere, everything in my outer environment is touching that sphere, has a point. Therefore, I am connected to everything around me. And then I also realized, okay, I'm this sphere. Everything inside of me, unknown too, is touching the inside of this sphere. I am like a membrane. I am like a sheet. I'm like, whatever I am might be paper thin. And the inner and the outer are touching fully and completely this like vellum, this like sheet of glass or whatever it is. And so there is this whole new level of awareness. Then it spontaneously went into this like tantric fusion of mind energy connection with certain people, for self, like all this mystical stuff was happening, because that's where I'm at in my journey. And it was like mind blowing, but also at the exact same time not at all. So these mind blowing experiences can be very low key. And so because you're quiet, your mind is kind of, so did all the voices and stories and stuff stop? No, they just got muffled. They just got toned down. The water was getting clear. Was it crystal clear? No, but it was enough that I was having some amazing internal experiences, deep self realizations. But was it the ultimate? Was it that idealized state of Zen master? Did it need to be? No. Am I, when it needs to be Zen master, I'll be Zen master. When it needs to be novice, I will be novice. So I'm not rushing the process. I accepted the experience for what it was. I learned a lot. I journaled about it. I felt grateful for my day. And I was like, that was like a trip around the world, all expense paid, without waiting in line, without jet lag, without all the negatives. I had an internal experience that was all positive. And then that translates out into the world. I went through some mystical transformation, and in those moments, so like 5 minutes of whatever I was experiencing moment to moment, I am not the same person anymore. You know, there was a transformation. And so that happens all the time in my meditations. But yeah, so wrapping it up, your meditation will be unique to you, and it needs to be interesting to you. It needs to be for you, all about you. Um, so don't let things limit you, and just take it easy. So there is a natural instinct to go towards the source, or whatever you want to call it, without any labels. And part of there is a way that your body knows how to meditate. Could be rocking back and forth. It could be singing a song, a tune. Like, we don't know what it is. And you may not know what it is, but it's going to feel comfortable. So these learned methods of postures, techniques, they worked for other people. They may not work for you. It doesn't mean you can never succeed. It just means you need to adjust it, custom tailor it to you. So for some people, it might need to be a dark room. For other people, who knows? And day to day,